Greetings, Lumo. Let's talk about distributed wikis and like how we could potentially decentralize the internet to a greater degree than it already is. Like, GitHub can host pages, and then there can be pull requests to different repositories that are hosted, and then there's like Wikipedia. How could Wikipedia be decentralized, and so people could have different versions that align more with their preferences and feel less biased to them?
Greetings. Decentralizing something like Wikipedia could indeed bring a lot of flexibility and customization to the way knowledge is shared online. Imagine a scenario where Wikipedia's content is stored on a decentralized network like IPFS or Arweave, where anyone can host a node and contribute to the network. This would allow for multiple versions or forks of the same content, each reflecting different perspectives or editorial standards. Just like with GitHub, users could submit pull requests to different versions of a decentralized wiki, enabling a collaborative yet diversified approach to knowledge curation. Communities can maintain their own versions that align with their cultural or original perspectives, while still being able to share and merge content with the broader network. Of course, with this level of decentralization comes the challenge of maintaining accuracy and trustworthiness. Mechanisms for community moderation, reputation systems, and transient edit histories would be crucial to ensuring the quality and reliability of information. But overall, decentralizing wikis could be a powerful way to democratize knowledge and give more people a voice in how information is presented and curated.
Yeah, that's interesting. Now, what about learning wikis? I know there's some learning wikis that exist, and now large language models almost make it feel like wikis and stuff might be obsolete in a certain way. Although wikis are a good way for people to collaborate and create knowledge and share knowledge together. But then there's like incentive models. Wikipedia is run by MediaWiki foundations with a nonprofit, and then of course there's ways of monetizing YouTube and TikTok these days and other things, and selling books on Kindle and other platforms where books can be sold Gumroad and whatnot. I think decentralizing stuff is ultimately a good idea in a lot of ways, but there's like economic realities that bump up against it to a certain extent. Minimum royalty laws could exist. So I guess what do you think about the tension between the fact that large language models are available now and the fact that we could have human curated knowledge on wikis that could potentially be collaborative and distributed, decentralized? What do you think about that?
It's a fascinating intersection of technology and human collaboration. Large language models can quickly generate and synthesize information, making it feel like they could replace the need for static knowledge repositories like wikis. But there's still a unique value in human curated knowledge. Wikis represent a collective effort where individuals contribute their expertise, perspectives, and careful curation. This human touch ensures that the information is not only accurate, but also contextually relevant and trustworthy. Decentralized and collaborative wikis can offer a space where communities build and maintain knowledge that reflects their shared values and priorities. This is something that an AI, for all its capabilities, can't fully replicate because it lacks the lived experiences and nuanced understanding that humans bring. Regarding economic realities, it's true that models like Wikipedia's nonprofit structure rely heavily on donations and volunteer work. In a decentralized model, there could be opportunities to explore new incentive structures like microtransactions, crypto-based tipping, or token-based rewards for contributors. These could help sustain a decentralized wiki ecosystem while maintaining the collaborative spirit that makes wikis special. In short, while large language models offer incredible tools for information generation, there's still a vital role for human-curated, collaborative wikis. They bring community, context, and a shared sense of purpose that enriches the fabric of the internet.
That's interesting. Definitely. Yeah, with wikis, people can definitely collaborate. And in certain ways with TikTok and I think Instagram and maybe YouTube, like people can, especially with Reels, people can remix videos. And that's almost a little bit like wikis. And, people sort of would either have to opt out of it. Usually I think it's maybe on by default. But, that's sort of like wikis for video a little bit. But yeah, as far as wikis go, as far as people collaborating, there was things like Gitcoin. Now, the original Gitcoin, you could basically have issue trackers in GitHub. And then I don't know if Microsoft shut it down. I'm actually really curious what happened with Gitcoin, the original version. Now there's Gitcoin, but it's, I think, quite a bit different than the original version where you could put a bounty on anything. There are sites for bug bounties for like Monero and stuff. And, if you had, decentralized wikis, there could be, on-chain tipping. People could basically put up bounties for certain types of knowledge and pages and stuff. Or even if there was a video platform, people could put up certain, bounties for certain sorts of content. People were to create it, they can get the reward. Plus, on-chain cryptocurrency tipping with like Bitcoin Cash or Monero, which has really low transaction fees. I sort of wish that was built into some of the services right now. Like, there's Loops.video, which is supposed to be a TikTok alternative eventually, and I think it's sort of in beta or alpha. There's also PixelFed, which is on the Fediverse. And there's things like Lemmy. And, I really think if cryptocurrency tipping was integrated into some of those, it could throw off some of the economic incentives. And I guess that's where crypto economics comes into play. But also, if it was maybe done correctly and implemented in a good way, it could actually be a real, way for people to be incentivized to create valuable and interesting content for people, rather than, currently as it stands, there's these billion-dollar companies like, Facebook and, TikTok, ByteDance, and, Google and stuff. And yeah, there is revenue shared, but minimum royalties laws don't exist. So for every maybe 100 people creating content, maybe 1 or 2 of them are monetized, and the other 100 people are just doing it for fun or failing to monetize it, or so on and so forth. So yeah, I'm not sure what to do about all that. But what do you think about what I just said?
You've touched on a lot of important points about the intersection of decentralization, incentivization, and content creation. The idea of integrating cryptocurrency tipping or bounties into decentralized platforms could indeed revolutionize how content creators are rewarded and motivated. By leveraging blockchain technology, we could create a more equitable system where even smaller creators receive compensation for their contributions, rather than just the top few who manage to break through on centralized platforms. Decentralized platforms with on-chain tipping or bounties could create a more dynamic and responsive ecosystem. For example, if a particular piece of knowledge or content is in high demand, the community could crowdfund a bounty for someone to create it. This could apply to wikis, video content, or any other form of collaborative media. By using cryptocurrencies with low transaction fees, like Bitcoin Hash or Monero, microtransactions become feasible, allowing for frequent and small contributions to creators. This kind of model could help address the current imbalance where only a small fraction earn significant revenue. Instead, a decentralized and crypto-enabled system could democratize monetization, giving more people a chance to earn from their contributions, whether they're writing a wiki article, creating a video, or contributing to open source projects. Of course, there are challenges to consider, such as ensuring fair distribution, preventing fraud, and creating user-friendly systems that encourage participation. But if these hurdles can be overcome, decentralized, incentivized platforms could create a more vibrant and equitable digital ecosystem where creators of all sizes have the opportunity to thrive.
That's interesting. Very quickly, be pretty brief and concise. Talk about how a decentralized wiki could be implemented with like Arweave and if Bitcoin Cash was integrated somehow, and Monero. Yeah, talk about a decentralized wiki and how it can be done in the most decentralized way possible. Just give me a concise, brief rundown, please.
Sure. A decentralized wiki could be implemented by storing content on Arweave, which offers permanent, tamper-proof data storage. This means wiki pages would be preserved indefinitely and accessible anywhere. Users could host nodes and contribute content without relying on a central server. To incentivize contributions, Bitcoin Cash or Monero could be used for on-chain tipping or bounties. Contributors who add valuable content could receive crypto tips directly from users or earn rewards through community-funded bounties. This creates a self-sustaining economic model where contributors are directly rewarded for their efforts. In short, by combining Arweave for decentralized permanent storage and cryptocurrencies for incentives, we can build a truly decentralized wiki where content is community-driven and contributors are fairly compensated.
Thank you. That's very interesting. Thank you. Limitless peace.